We haven't lost you.
Sketchy Live. It is Monday night.
Sketchy Live Monday. What is going on? You've made it to the place that's got stuff happening. It's like sketching sometimes, and then mostly sometimes it's also a podcast. But it's Sketchy Live Monday, the podcast version tonight.
Yes.
We are so excited. We have a special guest in the house. Well, in his house, but via satellite.
Via satellite.
We've got him in the hizzy. It is Sam Metro.
Yay!
From Claremont. Is
Yes.
that the state? Yeah, it's border. It borders Florida in the southern peninsula. Anyway, Sam's going to be here in a sec.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk hot rods. We're going to talk martial arts. We're going to talk gunplay. We're going to talk riding horses. We're going to talk. There's so many things. DJing. We're going to talk. Car shows, plans, stuff. ityB is going to do a trivia pursuit question. Oh, and the dreaded shakedown. All coming up. Right Sketchy now. Live, John Jalabi, hot rod artist, ityB, linchpin, and sexy.
We'll be right back, guys.
Hang on. Sketchy Live, yeah.
Okay.
I'm pumped.
He is pumped.
Do you understand?
Yes, we have.
It has been an amazing time. And I'm pumped. Sketchy Live Monday.
Right.
The podcast.
Yes.
What other fun place can you come and listen to hot rod talk, chat, buzz,
stuff,
whatnot?
It's all going on.
It's all happening at Sketchy Live, right the now. Podcast. I'm John Jalabi, hot rod artist, full-time hot rod artist.
What?
Next to my side, my beautiful wife, the linchpin, the one that holds it all together. It is ityB, and via satellite, it's Sam Metro.
Oh my goodness! Hi,
what's
Sam.
Up, guys?
You.
What is up, friend?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good. We're super great. Look at you can even see.
Is that a lasso behind you?
That is a lasso behind him. Yeah. Where's mine? I used to have one.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
I gotta find my lasso. I'm lasso-less right now.
Sam, welcome to the broadcast.
Welcome
it is
to Sketchy
so good
Live
to
Monday.
see you.
We're so excited to have you.
Thank you for having me, guys.
So we got to meet you in person back in, well, it was supposed to be November, and then it was actually January.
Right.
The Great American Teach-In, you had invited Johnny over to come talk at the school that you work at, Ocoee Middle School here in Florida. And we had...
ityB's got just one question. What were you thinking?
We had the best time.
That was like,
it
why?
Was awesome.
When I told her, I was like, you're not going to believe this guy. He asked me, there's a school that's nearby. Well, it's not nearby, but it's in Florida, close by. And he's like, they're doing a teaching thing and they want me to come talk about art and stuff. Yep. Can you believe that? And you were like, why?
No, I did not say I did not say that.
What did you say?
I said, that is a fantastic opportunity.
And is there free lunch?
No. And there was
free lunch.
Food was awesome. High five. Anyways.
Yeah. So we had a great time with you. And I've got to say, super impressed with the school and the staff and the involvement of everybody. And you're kind of the ringleader over there with this stuff. So tell us how this whole thing started, because you're a teacher, and then you've got this car show that you do every year, and the teach-in. So tell us about how that got going.
So years ago, I was when I first got the job up here I think it's 18 years ago, they had something called Teach, and they explained it to me. I said, oh, it's the same thing we had down south. It was just called Career Day. Yeah. And I said, well, I could possibly bring out the film crew I was working on at the time. Maybe I can get the director out and then get one of the actors. And they said, oh, that'd be great. So I brought those people out. And the next year, those people couldn't make it out. So the principal at the time says, hey, do you have anything for us? I'm like, well,
you set the bar way high.
Yeah, I did. I said hi, but I surpassed it the next year. I said, well, I do a little bit of like gopher work at a hot rod shop, Howard's Hot Rod Shop that was in Winter Garden at the time. And I said, like, I bet you I could probably bring in a bunch of car guys. And she goes, well, can you make it so that it's got something to do with the careers? I said, yeah, I can do that. And I did a big write up on it and I presented it to her. And she's like, that'd be great. Well, I brought the cars out from the car club. And I think the first year we had 17 cars and all the kids rotated through it and they loved it. So the next year she's like, hey, you're bringing your car people back? I'm like, do you want me to? She's like, oh yeah. So I said, well, let's raise the bar. I says, we can do better than 17 cars. I think the second year we had 21 cars and it just kept on growing after that. It's
very cool.
Yeah. And what it is, I make a presentation to the students and I said, listen, we're bringing the hot rods out here. You guys can take the selfies. I want you to talk to the owners about their cars. A lot of the cars have interesting features. I mean, we had a 58 Edsel out there with the push button transmission and the steering wheel. A good buddy of mine, Lon, who's in my car club, brought out this Corvair and he read the hood open and the kid comes over and looks at it and he's like, hey man, where's my engine? Did you take my engine? The kid's like, I didn't take your engine. And he's like, well, where's my engine? The kid's like, I don't know. So he took him to the back and he opened up the frunk and he goes, I mean, not the frunk, the back, the truck. He's like, oh, there it is. I found my engine now. And the kid's like, what's it do back there? So it always leads to these great conversations.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's gotten really, really good until this year. Then it got great because you guys came out. Kids loved you.
There was way more cars that came, so that's why it was.
Yeah. It was great because so the way that thing worked out was I talked to the art teacher. I said, hey, look, we're going to do the art show. I mean, the car show this year. How about we get the kids to do some artwork, like some hot rod inspired art? And she's a tattooist also. She does tattoo art. So she's like, can we do that? I'm like, can do anything. I'll talk to the principal. And my principal, Sherry's awesome. She was on board with it. She's like, yeah, let's do an art show. Let's do a car show. And then I was like, I'd really like to get this guy, Johnny, to come out that I've been talking to. I said, he's really, really cool. I said, I got his shirts. I mean, I'm going to call him and see if he'll do it. And I called you and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm in.
Well, let's be honest. So what really happened was Sam messaged me about doing some shirts for him to wear to school.
Right.
And then he talked to me about the teach-in.
Right.
And I was like, ooh. Well, if you ever need anybody, I was already like volunteering myself, hoping that he might ask. And then the smart way to volunteer for something is to make sure the person thinks that it was that, even though you weaseled your way into it. I had weaseled my way into doing the things, because I was like, I just want to do it. And then you were kind enough to say, hey, would you like to come be a part of this thing? And I'm like, what a great idea.
That was my plan all along, get you over there.
It was super fun. It was a great time. And I'm still so appreciative of the opportunity to talk about my silly passion with kids. And it was cool that, I was going, hopefully if I could at least make the mistake not to say touch any kids. If I could just make an impact on some kids. Yeah, I didn't want to touch them.
We don't use that word touch the kids.
Yeah. I'll learn. I'm going to learn yet.
Got to be careful.
Not to touch kids. But I'm hoping that to inspire, one or two that would ask questions and seemed very interested. And then the bonus was to get to bring Kona down there after we had done a huge transformation on it. And really, the students were the first ones to really, really, really get to look inside and out of it, and
they were climbing in it, really cool. Sitting in it, taking their pictures in it. That was awesome. Really neat.
Yeah. So we're very, very fortunate. That was it was like all the planets lined up that day. We were blessed with good weather. We had.
It was great.
You guys, the presentation that you both did was phenomenal. So next year we're going to have extra trophies. We're going to have the ityB's choice, Johnny Jalape's choice, the principal's choice, and we're going to have the staff choice. So that's for the car people, and then the young lady who won the award that you guys get for Johnny for the artwork that you gave out the trophy to, she'd come up to me 2 weeks before school was out, and she'd said something like, I hope I'm in your class next year, because she was a 7th grader and her artwork was phenomenal.
Oh yeah, she was really cool. Yeah,
That
she's
was
a
awesome.
very, very, very talented. There was a ton of talented people.
Oh, yeah.
That was the part that was very hard, was to judge a
I don't know if I'm going to be able to judge.
to
I had a
judge
hard
an art
time.
show, because there was so many really cool different styles in the way they were drawing and putting things together. So hopefully, what I'm hoping is that those that maybe sat on the fence last year will go,
We'll
I should have done
participate.
it.
Yeah.
That looks
Absolutely.
like fun. So hopefully you'll have more. We'll get, look at me. There'll be
He's
more
taking ownership of it now.
Anyway, it'll be cool. But
fun day, and
awesome.
I loved how engaged the kids were.
Yeah,
there were a few that were kind of like, twirling their pencil or whatever, but
Right.
the majority of the kids were listening to what Johnny was sharing, and they were answering questions, and he tried to make it interactive, and it was a learning experience for him too, because I mean he's talked in front of crowds before, but probably not to a group of kids like that.
No. It's, in front of people trying to show them how to and teach them how to sail and that kind of stuff. So it was definitely a different situation.
Well, Miss Kennison, our librarian, was extremely impressed with how you guys did your presentation, and she says, "Oh my God, he's a natural teacher." I'm like, "He really is." It was awesome. The kids were really engaged.
Well, we were super excited to do it. And again, it gave us a great opportunity to really actually get to meet you.
Yes.
And spend some time with you and your wife. And, we got, even though it was only really a couple hours, I didn't really know anything, to be honest, really about you.
Right.
As far as, and then, in a short period of time, I was like, you do what now? Oh yeah, I do, is it quick draw or,
it was cowboy action shooting.
Like tactical cowboy stuff, which was cool. And I'm like, oh man, that because I've dabbled a little bit in my ute of from the town I came from, and then trying to get into the whole cowboy thing. And anyways, but I'm like, wow, this actually shooting guns and quick draw and good aim and all, it seems so cool. And then you're like, oh yeah, and then also then you talked about your martial arts stuff with not only just martial arts, but
the katanas
to be doing stuff with swords.
Yeah,
and I've seen some of that on TV before, and I was like, man, that's so interesting, and what a discipline. And then meet you, and you're like, oh yeah, I do that too. And this guy from Japan's coming next week, and I'm going to talk to him. And
big whoop.
Yeah, and I start, really doing the tactical ityB on you and diving deep into your Facebook pictures, and I'm like, holy cow, this guy knows what he's doing over here. So, talk to us about talk to us first about the cowboy. What did you call it? The
cowboy action shooting.
Cowboy action shooting. So, talk to us about that.
How did that even start?
So, I'll tell you a funny story. So, my father-in-law, I love my father-in-law. He's a great guy. Him and I were into Westerns. My dad was into Westerns. We always used to watch Westerns. Mm-hmm. And one day, I decided I'm going to go out and buy my father-in-law a pistol, like an old cowboy gun. And I happened to be getting a haircut, and I'm looking through a magazine, Guns and Ammo, they just had sitting there. And I've always been in three things. I've always been into guns, hot rods, and swords, Japanese swords, and the swordsmanship that goes with it. And I haven't changed since I've probably been 9 years old, and nobody's going to change me. My wife has finally figured it out. I'm 61. She figured that out about 2.5 weeks ago. It's not worth it. She's got enough gray hair.
One day he'll grow up and put these guns and swords away. Nope.
So I'm looking at this magazine, and I'm like, there's an advertisement for cowboy action shooting. It's called the Single Action Shooting Society. And I'm like, oh, wait, what? First thing I did is I went home. I actually wrote it on my hand like I always do. And I get home and I look it all up on a computer, and I'm like, oh, I got to do this. So I tried to get my father-in-law involved in the cowboy action shooting. Called up, and you have to have a handle. So my handle was Sammy Two Feathers, and it's the first thing is I called up and I asked the lady. I says, you have to have a handle. She says, yeah. Let me know when you're ready. I said, okay. And I said, Jeremiah, and she says, was a bullfrog? I'm like, yes. And she goes, yeah, that's like number 12. Forget it. You're 42,770. I'm like, so I can't have it? She's like, no.
Not available.
So I started shooting. I just started the cowboy action shooting, and I became somewhat competitive. I was never that good. As a matter of fact, my youngest son, who's 28 years old, is a better shooter than me. And we went to a competition, a local competition, and competed. And I took 4th place in my division, and he likes to throw it up that he took 1st place in his.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So that's cool,
You're
though.
passing it down.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
then,
haven't. About a couple of years ago, it kind of slowed down on the cast. I still shoot. You met Glenn, my brother from another mother, Glenn.
right.
Him and I still shoot, and we still shoot cowboy guns. Matter of fact, we were out shooting black powder pistols 2 weeks ago with our buddy Cliff.
Fun. Where do you go for something like that? A range?
My buddy Joe's got a ranch, and we go over there. We shoot over there. So the next time you guys come over, when it's cooler weather, we'll go over there and go shoot some.
Heck yeah.
He wants
war
to
guns
kill
and
us.
stuff.
No,
No. I love you guys. I don't want to kill you.
No, I'm down.
That would be super fun.
Okay, so then on that same vein, then since we're talking, so you said you watch cowboy movies because again, cowboy movies, kung fu movies, and then car movies. Those all are that's the trifecta of amazing moviness.
Yep.
Right. So let's go. I know you're probably this isn't on the throwdown,
okay,
or the shakedown. Sorry. So number one cowboy movie then?
Mine.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, The Outlaw Josie Wales. I've seen it probably over 200 times.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all right. You're not going wrong by picking a Clint Eastwood movie. So
I could pick that is a Clint Eastwood movie, Outlaw Josie Wales. I would go second one would probably have to be Quigley Down Under with Tom Selleck.
Really? Okay.
And then John Wayne's. I know this people argue all day long. El Dorado, Rio Lobo, and Rio Bravo with the Duke were those are my top 5 favorites.
Okay. Yeah, those are good. Okay, so now, I'm assuming you probably also watched martial art movies.
Yeah, believe it or not, as long as I've been in the martial arts, and it's going on, it's 50 years now. I think I started when I was 11 years old, and it's been on and off. I mean, I had like when I was in college, I couldn't take it as much. I was trying to study, although I didn't do enough of that. I watched some of the martial arts movies. There's a lot of the samurai movies always intrigued me, and that's kind of how I got into the Japanese swordsmanship.
Gotcha.
Martial arts has been a big part of my life as well for quite a long time.
So 11 years old is when you started looking into the weaponry stuff and went.
The weaponry came probably when I was about I think it was 13 and a half or 14.
Okay.
One of my uncles gave me a sword. But I thought it was a samurai sword. It turned out it was a Filipino cane cutting sword. And then I just did a little bit of research on it. And my instructor at the time wasn't really showing me anything with the weaponry. But when I was 17, a friend of mine dad's had, he said, your dad tells me you're into swords. He goes, I got something for you. My dad sent me over to his house. And he gave me a World War II Japanese sword that I still have.
Wow. No kidding.
And that's what led me down that rabbit hole of, oh, wow, I can actually start studying this. And I was fortunate to have an instructor, Professor Chinique in Miami area. And he showed me a little bit of swordsmanship. And then when I moved up here, I already knew a friend of mine that was dealing with swords. I go to these sword shows and I would buy, sell, or trade Japanese swords. And I still kind of do that, not like I used to. I can say hot rodding's gotten expensive, so you got to kind of pick and choose what you can do.
Exactly.
Right. And I got started in a system with him, and it was Bob Elder. He just passed away a couple of years ago. We lost him. He was a phenomenal man, phenomenal instructor, and he turned me on to my instructor, Mike Serrero, who is he's gone to Japan probably, I'm going to say 16, 17 times. He's competed. He's won first place trophies over there.
Wow.
And he's my instructor now, and it's even with the injury to the wrist right now, it's starting to get a little bit better, and I'm going to start cutting again like I used to.
Right.
And I still go to class and help out when I can and do what I can, but the cutting is the real fun part because we're actually cutting with a real sword through the tatami.
Right. Yeah. I've watched. I've seen your pictures, and again, I watched I think it was a documentary or something on this specific discipline. Right. And I was like, wow, this is very cool. Like, it's not what you would think it would be. There's some legit stuff to it. And it's really, really, really neat. Hey, Sam, before we get too far,
sure.
you know the deal is Sketchy Live, all about the fan interaction.
Watching?
Who's on the podcast or ityB? Hit us up.
Yeah.
And let's get some folks introduced, and then we'll get some more questions.
We've got Gus Slinger joining us, a pal of yours.
Yes.
That's a pal of Sam's.
Okay.
Yep.
We've got Elizabeth.
What's up, handmade jewelry?
Daltrey. She said hello, Johnny and ityB, my two favorite peeps of the week.
Nice.
Paul Marziani joining us from Bradenton, Florida.
What up, Paul?
We've got Gus Slinger said gunplay. I'm in. James Olchin says, hello, my dear friends from Lincoln, Nebraska. God's blessings.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
You as well.
We've got Riff Driven joining us tonight.
What's up?
Matthew Bader, hello from France. Wow.
Cool.
International broadcast tonight. Thank you for joining.
Welcome.
Hot Rod Time Machines joining us. Caught the live from South Australia.
What?
Another international.
Well, welcome to the broadcast. It's early morning for you, I think.
It is. We've got Brewdub joining us tonight.
Hey, you guys are supposed to be camping. What are you doing?
Hey, guys. Happy Monday. Jim Pollan from Hobo's Hot Rod Garage in Horseheads, New York. Custom bead rolling joining us tonight, too.
What's up, Jim?
Robert Frost, hello from Salem.
What up, Salem?
Rob Earl, hey there, ityB and Johnny. Let's get sketchy. Tuning in from the Hunter Valley, Australia.
Australia.
We've got a good following over there in Australia.
Good on you, mate.
Frank Pacello joining us. Woo! Sketchy Live is on the air.
What's up, Frank?
Welcome, Frank. James Olchin said, Sam, how can a teacher be a car hobbyist? You don't make any money. Thank you for your dedication. Yeah, you'll have to tell us how you're figuring all that out.
He just said he was wheeling dealing swords for a while.
We've got the Evans joining us.
Dan and Mary.
Dunedin checking in. Looks like you are with Doc Holliday, they said.
I know, right?
Gus said no real names, Sam.
Oh.
We've got Eddie Nash joining us from Newport Richie. He says, this guy's pretty amazing. Eddie, you would love him.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
Eddie's a good friend of ours, too. Yeah. And he's totally a car guy as well. We've got George joining us. Zechariah 4:10, despise not small beginnings.
Ah, brother.
There you go.
Okay, man.
And then he put a new door opens. Yep, Zechariah.
Yeah.
Nice. Hot Rod Time Machine, 11:20 a.m. there, hanging in to see that refined edition of my sketch.
Working on it.
All right. So that's who we've got on tonight. International broadcast tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
And back to Sam. Now, Sam, you're a history teacher, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you probably don't teach the history of the samurai swords?
No. I teach U.S. history. Our subject matter starts off at early colonization of America, English colonization mostly, and then we also cover the French, the Spanish, and the Portuguese. And then we take it all the way up to the Civil War Reconstruction. So I'm really not allowed to go over the Japanese stuff in the class.
Did he freeze or did he
Okay. So some cowboy stuff in there then?
Yeah, I do go over the post-Civil War westward expansion, like the old gunslingers and stuff like that. We'll talk about it. Like I just talked about Bass Reeves just a little while ago, who was probably the most, he was an African-American U.S. Marshal and one of the best U.S. Marshals, but most people didn't even hear about Bass Reeves until about 15, 20 years ago when they started coming out. But I'd already read about him when I was younger. I have a whole library on the Old West.
Wow. Now, do your students know what you do for hobbies?
Sometimes, yeah, we'll have these little class discussions and they'll learn a little bit. And I can't, and it's like funny. One time I was talking about, we were talking about firearms in the classroom, and one of the kids was like, "You like guns?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I collect old Western guns and stuff like that." And he's like, "Do you shoot them?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I don't want to buy a gun I can't shoot."
You just became that much cooler to these kids, right? Street cred.
Yeah. So you ask them for their homework, you're not so cool anymore.
That's right. He packs a mean black powder. Now give him 26 minutes to load it and fire it on you, but he'll
about that, yeah. We were making fun of that a couple weeks ago when Glenn and I were
so funny. That's why there wasn't any major robberies during the black powder days.
Yeah.
Hold on. Read this note.
Wait.
Take your time. It's going to be a sec.
Almost there. Wait.
Yeah. Get off this stage, but you can take your time. Hold on.
Jeez.
That's funny.
Oh, too much.
And you also have a history in restaurant. In the restaurant business.
Yes.
Yeah, I was actually born
the jack of all trades.
Yes. So you do that, and
I'm
you cook or you manage?
Well, no. I actually owned a Greek restaurant when I was younger. I was born into the restaurant business. That's what my mom and dad did. They were restaurateurs. They owned Greek restaurants. They owned a nightclub in Miami, North Miami. It was a Greek nightclub with live music and belly dancers and all that. That was how I was brought up in that world.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you dance.
No, not
No,
me. I wasn't a belly dancer.
a belly dancer.
I know. I was
You know,
kidding.
Marty's probably Marisol's probably watching this right now and laughing
Yeah.
when you said that because I don't like to dance.
No, he might light a cheese platter on fire every once in a while, but that's
Yeah.
about as close to dancing
Oh,
as he's gonna get. As he's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
get.
Love Saganaki. I love making that.
Come on, what's not better than that?
it's so
Not
good.
much.
And the bread. I don't know where we're over here by
Oh, my
Tarpon
gosh.
Springs.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's like Greek capital of Florida. And the bread, I don't know how they make it, where they get it from, but it is different than any other bread you're going to get at any other restaurant.
I'm pretty sure
So
it's full
good.
of crack because it's just way to go.
I
Can't
will
get enough
eat
of it.
Crack
an
from
entire
Greece.
loaf.
Yeah.
But it's,
Like, how many-
crack from Greece, so it's fine.
Right. It's all good. It's all good.
Greek crack,
Sunday.
How fun.
Yeah, so much fun. All right, man. So a little bit of background on Sam. Now let's talk the turkey talk. So let's talk about hot rods. So what got you into to the old cars? When did that itch start for you?
It's got to be for me. It was Hot Wheels. My dad would buy me a Hot Wheels about once every week or two. I get one. When we first moved down here, we lived in a hotel on the beach in Miami, and my dad would buy us like one toy per week or every other week, whatever we had, and it was usually something small, and it was Hot Wheels. And then when I got older, I started building models and got my first hot rod when I was 18 years old, and I bought a '55 Chevy with my cousin Nick, and we were going to turn it into a drag car. And I had it in the backyard, and we were working on it a little bit here, a little bit there. And finally, one day, my dad comes up, and he's ticked off. And he goes, "Hey man, what are you gonna do with that piece of crap in the backyard?" I said, "Dad, Nick and I are building a race car." He goes, "You two idiots aren't doing anything with that thing." He goes, "Get out of my backyard by Friday, or you're grounded for a year." I'm like, "Dad, we're building a race car." He goes, "You haven't done anything on it in 3 months. Get out of my yard." So I had to call a buddy of mine who in the junkyard. I said, "Yeah, Steve, yeah, 55 Chevy. Yes, I have a title. No, you can't pick it up on Saturday. You don't pick it up by Friday. I'm grounded for a year. You better go." And he came pick it up on Friday morning.
Oh man!
So you never got it running.
Never got that one running. My cousin Nick and I tried to, but then shortly after that, I got a '39 Chevrolet Coupe with 350 LT1 and a Muncie M22 Rock Crusher, and that was it. That was just, I went down that rabbit hole of the hot rods, and I have not stopped yet.
Nice.
Which is amazing to me that the area. So you said it was in North Miami. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I lived in North Miami Beach most of my life.
So North Miami, that you would have, that the car culture found you, like, you know what I mean? Like it was destiny, because it's not like it was there was a lot of predominantly hot rod stuff going on in that area.
Maybe
There's in the Fort Lauderdale area, which is just north of us. There was, and a lot of kids in my high school, like I these two twin brothers, Dean and Steve Goldberg, they had a Trans Am with a 427 Chevy in it. That was just the nastiest car. But there were some hot rods in our school, and there's a friend of mine that I knew. Her boyfriend drove a T-Bucket, and once I saw a T-Bucket, that was really what I wanted as my first car.
Yeah. Once you see a fingerless car, it's hard to shake that thing off. Yeah. Oh my God.
Open engine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah. You see all the goodies, and yeah. Because now it's a convertible, and there's no fenders, and it's light, and it's fast, and you can see the engine.
Yep.
And it's really loud.
Yeah. That's what my dad said.
Recipe for disaster in the pocketbook.
Especially for like a 16, 17-year-old kid.
Oh man.
And what is your car now?
Currently,
that's true.
So currently I have a 26 Ford Model T Coupe that a buddy of mine, Stanley Norris, has helped me considerably with. We strengthened the frame, we gusseted it. It's got a 350 out of a Corvette, 74 engine. It's been bumped up and worked on. That one I've been working on. My buddy Glenn actually helped me do all the electrical work on that one as well, and the front end. I'm actually blessed. I've got a couple people in my life, along with my car club. There's members of my car club that we kind of bounce back and forth and help each other out with whatever we can do.
How it should be.
And then I picked, exactly. It's just fellowship. And then I've been building a car with Glenn, a little here, a little there, a little here, when I can afford it, and I buy parts and this and that, and when we can get to it. Glenn and I have been working on building a 23 Ford Model T C cab delivery for 13 years, and I'm a lot closer now than I have been. Thank God, I got all the parts, and we've been jamming a little bit on that. We haven't done anything recently, but I'm getting back on that one.
We saw?
Yeah, that's the one that's going to be
in the garage,
super custom.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
That's the one that's going to have the surfboard on top of it. I've already got the surfboard sitting up there. And then I told Johnny about this. I got a call from a buddy of mine. He says, "I got a car you got to buy." And I said, "Man, I don't know if I can bring home another old car. My wife's about to kill me." And he's like, "You got to buy this. You got to look at this car." And it was a 29 Essex sedan that was already hot rodded in the 80s. And apparently this was like the belle of the ball up in Virginia. And I said, "Man, I can't get into all the logistics of it, but I says, I mean, if I come home with another old car, my wife's liable to like make good on a threat." She did with a friend of mine. She says, she asked one of my buddies, Stanley, she goes, "Hey, I want to buy a little bit of property from you." And he kind of looks at her and she says, "I want to buy 3 foot by 3 foot by 12 foot deep." And he looked at me and he's like, "You're in trouble, man." Well, I brought home that car and luckily I didn't get killed over it, but I'm still doing the dishes almost every night and a bunch of
yeah.
and the cooking for her and the honeydews.
Listen, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've met your wife, and she's very supportive, very patient.
This car is pretty sweet. The here's what I think is so Sam, his tea bucket, right?
Right.
You've now had it for how long?
The Model T Coupe, going on 2.5 years. 2.5 years.
If you recall, 2.5 years ago, I was also was kind of in the search for, and
Model A
on Marketplace, there was this orange scalloped tea bucket, or it was 29. You said 29? No, 26.
26.
And I looked at that thing for months, and it was on my favorites. Like I had a heart on it and a favorite, and I had been
waiting for the price to drop to zero,
following it and seeing why it wasn't selling, and then one day it disappeared, and I was like, "Oh, that thing was so cool." And then when I look up pictures from Sam, and there's the car. So the cool thing is I know the guy now that bought that car that I was like drooling over, going, "Man, I wonder if I can make it there."
You can drive it anytime you want, brother.
Hey.
So anyways, we'll have to swap cars sometimes. That'd be fun.
And then race, right? So you're gonna give me Rose to drive?
I don't know.
Pry
that one out of his pry the keys out of his hand out
of my cold dead hand. Anyways, it's such a cool car. I'm so stoked that. And again, when I saw that you had it, I was like, "Oh my God, that's really cool." But it, small world. Anyways,
yep, it is.
Our tastes are very similar. Who else is on the broadcaster, babe?
Dennis Goff is on. Welcome, sir.
Nice. What's up, Dennis?
We've got. Let's see. James Algen said, "Sam, is the Greek law that Greek family must own more than one restaurant at a time?" Oh, it is Greek.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Mary Evans said, "I have my great grandmother's high school U.S. history book published in 1857. It starts with all the Indian nations. Very fascinating."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Dan is Mary's husband. It might actually be Dan. I'm not sure how he signs in on this thing, but he's into all that kind of stuff,
history
books
stuff.
And history and legal stuff. He loves it. Paul Marziani said 55 Chevy was my first race car. I feel like 55 Chevys are like I've seen a lot of gassers
because they made so many of them.
Oh, is that what it is?
And it was
just popular.
Look at if you go 55 and you go through Ford, Chevy, different manufacturers, the 55 Chevy was the meanest looking out of all of them. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah.
So that's why I think so many of them turned into gassers and race cars, because they were so mean looking. Yep. You know how many those things were stock cars too? 55 Chevy.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow. It's surprising we have any of them left with the amount that they were used for racing. Yeah. So pretty cool.
We got Art Smith checking in.
What's up, Art?
Welcome, sir. Richard Hahn from Alpena, Michigan.
The pain.
Welcome, sir. So you said you have the 2 cars. Mm-hmm. And are there more that we just have not seen or heard about?
That's 3 actually.
Oh, 3 really? Yeah. With the new one.
Well, if you look at the numbers, it's like 2.74.
And then
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And I'm still collecting parts to every time I come up with an idea, I go to Glenn or Stanley, and they just both they cock their eye up and like, "Man, what are you thinking?" I'm collecting parts to build a 1930s boat tail race car.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Single seater?
I'm not sure yet, but I'm kind of going back and forth on that one, and I want to do possibly a single seater with a tonneau cover, and maybe put the battery where like the
Okay.
passenger seat would be, or if I can con my wife into getting another open car with me again, which she drove in the T bucket once, and she drove in the little Model A Roadster I had with a six banger, an inline six, and I kind of when I get the hair going, the air going through my hair, I'm kind of like, throttle down. She's like, slow
Or
down.
put it in a braid, install a seat for the dogs, and you can go.
Yeah, that's why we
She'd
got
go.
the sedan.
If you could take the dogs, she would go.
Yeah.
You're right. She would.
That's the reason I didn't get a Roadster.
Yeah.
Even though she's got a beanie on right now, guarantee every time I'm like, hey, let's go take, and then she's like, I just got done from the hair. The weather's always the day you do your hair.
It is.
And then you're like, I don't want to go anywhere in a car.
I don't, since I have a Jeep now, I can do the messy hair don't care thing. So
messy hair don't care. I like that.
Bring it on. So all right, so you've got these hot rods. When did you form the car club that you're in? It is the Classic Irons of Central Florida Car
Correct.
Club.
Yeah.
Are you the president and member, or
so a quasi president? So what happened was we had a car show. We had a car club down south, and I was part of them. And they had a whole lot of rules, and it was kind of like you're leaving people out, and it was like if you missed a certain amount of meetings, you owed money. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So when I came up here, I started talking to several people: Howard Edwards, Glenn Fellows. These are the guys who I hot rodded with. And I said, we got to start a car club. And they're like, yeah, let's do that. So we met at a restaurant where they had a car show at the Chick-fil-A in Claremont. Got together, started talking with people. And then I just put out a flyer. Look, if you're interested in joining a car club, email me. So it kind of took off from there. And then was like kind of like got to the point where it's like, look, here's what I'm looking for in a club. A bunch of guys and gals who want to get together, kind of family oriented. As I tell people to get in, here's how I tell people. If you want to join the club, you're friends with the people that are already in it. Come on over, come to a meeting or two, come to a couple of our shows that we hang out in, say hello, and then we'd like to get you in the club. You buy the shirt, you're in the club. If you're ever in the hospital, let us know. We want to come and get you kicked out. And if you ever die, we get dibs on all the hot rod crap that you bought at the price you told your wife you paid for it.
And there you go.
That small block Chevy, I bought that for $50, honey. Yeah, it was $1,000 per weekend for $50. So there's no officers. There's no. I'm not a president. People call me that. It's not. It's just I'm the guy who's the only one who willing to go and get on the internet and to get on the emails and send the emails out to everybody. And it's like there was I think it was an Abbott Costello, and you're in the Army now, and they're looking for volunteers, and everybody else steps back, and those two are arguing with each other. Well, that's what I did. I blinked, and I'm like, "Where is everybody?" And it was me. So
Sam knows
bunch of guys and gals
how to work a computer. He's the guy. That's probably how it happened.
No, it's awesome though, because somebody does need to run it. Somebody does need to coordinate with the places that you're going to be doing the shows on. I mean. You need somebody doing that. But then in addition to doing that and rallying all the troops for these things, you're also DJing.
Yep. Yeah. The way I DJ'd was when I first moved up here, I had to look for a second job. I've always had 2 or 3 jobs. When I was down south, I was a martial arts instructor. I waited tables at Bennigan's. I was at Bennigan's for 17 years while I was a school teacher. So when I came up here, it's like I had to get another job. We're raising 2 kids. We're going to put them through college. And then I was looking at hardware stores. I was looking something I can get into. I was starting to work part-time as kind of like a gopher for Howard Edwards. Like I said, he's the guy who owned Howard's Hot Rod Shop. Wasn't getting paid. He would just help me out with whatever I needed done on my stuff. And then all of a sudden, it was like I get a phone call from Jen Johnson. There's WJBJ is Butch and Jen Johnson. Everybody in Central Florida knows them. They've done the Turkey Run for years. They DJ'd Old Town for years. They're really, really infused with the car world. Great people. So Jen calls me up one day and she says, "Hey, we want to talk to you. Where are you?" I said, "I'm at the Hot Rod Shop." She goes, "When you leave, give me a call." And I did. And I said, "What's up?" And she says, "Well, Butch and I want to hire you." And I was like, "To do what?" She said, "To DJ." I go, "DJ? I've never been a DJ." She goes, "Well, you know your music and you know your cars and you know the people." I said,
"And you have a goatee."
Yeah, and I got a goatee, right? I said, "But I've never DJ'd." She's like, "Well, we're going to teach you." I says, let me talk to my wife. And I call up the boss, my wife, and I says, "Hey, I said, I got a job opportunity. I says, Butch and Jen want to hire me to DJ a car show. And what do you think? She's like, well, can you do it? I'm like, I can do anything I put my mind to it, but what am I going to be good at? And she goes, well, you won't know till you try. So I called her up. I said, I'll give it a try. And that was it. And I worked for them for a number of years until they ended up moving a few years ago. When COVID hit, Jennifer lost her job and then she was getting a job up north. So Butch calls me up one day and goes, hey, man, we have to have a staff meeting. The staff was only Butch, Jen, and myself. And and it's funny. It's like I get in and I'm like, okay, what's going on? And he says, Jennifer found a job. I'm like, thank God. And he's like, in North Carolina. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, so we're moving. You've got a choice. You can buy the trailer and continue to do DJing for the car shows, or we're going to move and you've got nothing and you can, what do you want to do? I said, well, I says, he goes, it's your chance to win Employee of the Month. I'm like, let me talk to the wife. So I went and talked to the wife and we came up with a little bit of cash and bought the trailer and the stuff. And Butch graciously gave me a couple of the shows that he was doing. And I always make this joke. And then 2 years later, they had an opportunity to move back. And Butch and Jen are great friends of mine. I love them. He calls me up and he says, hey, man, we're coming back to Florida. I said, awesome. And he's like,
can we buy the trailer back?
No. He's still got his trailer. It's twice the size of mine.
You want the turf?
It's not that I don't have trailer envy, really. I don't. But so I make this joke. I says, it's funny and Butch does not like cold weather at all. It goes below 70 and Butch starts getting grumpy. So Butch, there was claw marks going up I-95 when they were leaving. And when they found out they were moving back down, there were divot marks from the heels kicking in and hauling butt back down to Central Florida. And then he came back there. Now he does the show over at Eustis, downtown Eustis show. That's a phenomenal show. They get like 150, 200 cars.
Wow.
And between those two, they're the two best DJs I've ever come across. They know their music. Butch really knows his music. Butch can tell you, like, how many nose hair John Lennon had. Actually, not John Lennon. He's not big Beatles, but like how many nose hairs somebody had on, like, on a certain day. He knows his music and he knows everything about it. Yeah, great
That's
people.
so
I
cool.
DJ so I can tinker with my cars.
Right.
Yeah, it's the only way.
So somebody said, how can you afford to be a hot rodder when you're a school teacher? Because you're working your butt off and you don't stop.
Yeah.
You're the definition of a doer, my friend.
Yeah, I am. Sleep is overrated. You get more sleep than you're dead. Don't worry about it.
How often are you doing the shows? Do you do a weekly show or is it like?
I've got two weekly shows. I'm sorry, 2 shows that I do every month. And we just picked up another one. We just did one at the Steak and Shake in Claremont, and then we're going to start up in September when it gets a little cooler.
Yeah,
we're going to start doing that one. So we're going to do that one 9 months out of the year. And then I've got one at the Bees RV Resort with a guy by the name of Rick and Mike and Patty. Those 3 are like the show promoters. I do that one. And then Jen and RJ, who you're going to meet because you're going to come over their show and set up a tent. And I got to get you to meet these people also. Jen and RJ, they're the ones who host the downtown Leesburg show, and that show gets about 100 in great weather, we get about 150 cars.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah.
Man, you are keeping busy.
Yeah.
I try to.
Yeah.
What else is people saying?
Gus said he's our fearless leader.
Nice.
We've got Michael Overby joining us from Michigan.
What's up, Michael Overby?
Matt Williams is on the broadcast. I think that's getting us caught up.
Nice. Well, it's 43 minutes into the show.
Oh, I know.
I think it's
has
time
gone by. You want to do the shakedown?
For the shakedown with ityB.
Okay.
You got me a little scared here with the shakedown.
You should be.
You don't understand. It's a list of 10 questions.
She's gonna try to write it down. Like these are rock solid.
These are Johnny on the spot questions.
Like, you better, if you can't get these.
So, like, what's my social security number and my
no. This is, I mean, I think people already have a good idea of who you are, but this kind of gives us some insight,
inside stuff,
a little further insight.
We're
gonna dig deep. Okay. All right. So,
how many questions in the shakedown? Shakedown.
Just 10.
I just like to say shakedown.
Like the reverberation.
Yeah. Watch how this happen when she goes. Go ahead.
Number 1.
Question 1.
Die Hard. Christmas movie or not a Christmas movie?
Oh, Christmas movie.
Okay.
Christmas.
You don't think so?
movie.
Come on, yeah.
I think so.
I think the collective does, but we did have an argument for years and years and years of whether it was a Christmas movie or just an action film. And the it is an original movie, that's for sure, that they've made 27 different versions of. But it's still original.
Okay, good answer. Number 2.
Question 2.
Your favorite season.
Winter and fall. Okay, fall's the second, but winter in Florida, I mean, when it gets down to like, it was like 84 or something like that. No, I like the winter in Florida.
Florida winters. So that's
Ohio
really like
winters.
Spring
No.
somewhere else. Okay.
Right. Not Ohio winters. I didn't like those too much.
Now this one we probably know.
The correct answer is paprika. Question 3. The shakedown. ityB's shakedown.
And I feel like I know the answer to this one because you're a teacher. Early riser or night owl?
It's kind of personal.
I get up at 4:30 every morning, but I hit snooze until 5. So I'm an early riser. But
newsflash, that's still early.
When ityB asked me this question, she goes, "Early finisher or late beginner?"
She's been talking to Marisol, hasn't she?
Paprika.
Number 4.
Question 4.
And I'm sure I know the answer. Everyone answers this the same way.
4.
Manual or automatic?
Oh, manual. Every day, all day.
I know.
His name is Sam, not Manuel.
Okay. Number 5.
Question 5.
This one's going to be a stroll down memory lane. Okay. Favorite toy when you were 7 years old?
Oh, wow. I had a stuffed tiger that was like a little, like a teddy bear, but I had a stuffed tiger, and we went to Greece, and my mom made me leave it there for my cousins. I'm not saying I'm angry still. I mean, I've sought therapy. I've gone through, yeah, I had a stuffed tiger. My mom made me leave it there, and we went there when we were, I think I was 14 years old. And first thing I asked my cousins were, they're like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Where's my tiger?"
And they didn't have it.
They're like, they didn't know what I was talking about. They lost it.
Was it a white tiger or like an orange tiger?
No, it was an orange tiger. Yeah, it was a white belly. Missing one eye.
Was it a white tiger?
Yeah.
Were you doing magic?
Oh man. But really, I'm not angry anymore. I've gotten over it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. That's
Did you have a brother who also had a white tiger? Anyway. Oh man.
So we're gonna go
what question
from that.
is this? What question is this?
This is 7.
Question
No.
6. And then
6.
shakedown.
And this one, you don't have to answer. Some people have been uncomfortable.
What are you talking about? You do have to answer. This is the shakedown.
Some people have been uncomfortable. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well,
maybe you don't want to say.
I'm an open book. I think my biggest pet peeve is when people are late.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'll go ahead.
It was funny. I had a guy who taught me this in my sword class. I used to teach this guy named Mariano, great guy. He'd come in 10, 15 minutes late. And I'm like, "Were you at work?" He's like, "No." And so he'd come up with this, early is on time is late, and late is unforgivable. And he comes in almost every single class 10 minutes late.
Don't do as I
can't make him
say.
do push-ups because it's swords, but I'm like, all right, man. I had a pet peeve. It'd be on time.
And then to be a teacher and have your kids strolling late, nah.
Don't do
it. Drives me nuts.
Nah.
It drives me nuts.
Okay, well, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Number 7.
Number 7.
Past or future?
You still haven't fixed this one?
No.
I'm still living in the past. I'm past. Being the history teacher of the past.
Yes, for sure. Some people are all about futuristic things and like adventure and sci-fi and that kind of stuff. But then there's,
I like that stuff. I like the space westerns. I like that, like Firefly and all that.
I don't know if I could do space westerns.
You're not into space westerns?
I mean, I get it. I mean, Han Solo was kind of a space westerny guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he wore a
he was
vest?
a gun. He was supposed to be like the modern day gunfighter of his
Right,
time.
gunslinger.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you know that what was the I almost said Hot Rods and Aliens. I don't know. It was the one with Harrison Ford in it, also in that movie, and it was all right. Anyway,
Yeah.
I like regular westerns.
Yep, I do too. They're my favorites.
Yep.
Something in my
Little
eye.
good, bad. Yeah, it's your finger.
Okay. Number 8.
Number 8.
Your favorite type of music. Your favorite music.
DJ.
Yeah. Vintage rock and roll and the blues.
Nice.
Yep.
Blues
Same.
artist.
I like the
Favorite blues
blues.
artist?
Modern would have been B.B. King, Muddy Waters. Blues rock and roll, obviously ZZ Top. That's my favorite band.
Gotcha.
And I'd have to say Stevie Ray Vaughan. Vintage, Robert Jordan and ZZ Hill.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a ZZ Top and a ZZ Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, ZZ Hill was early 30s guitarist. I believe he was out of, I want to say it was Mississippi, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
Yeah.
John Lee Hooker?
Oh, I love John Lee Hooker. Yeah.
I don't
know. Anyway.
he was great in the Blues Brothers.
Oh my God, he was awesome in that movie.
Yeah.
Also a car movie. It hit all the car.
Have music.
Yep.
Outlaws.
Yep.
Music.
Sure. All right.
What's your favorite hot rod movie?
Oh, dang it.
You've always said it was American Graffiti.
I like the amount of cars that are in it.
Yep.
But my most favorite car is not. It's in the movie for 3 seconds and then it's out of it. So
what would be?
It's the white pearl. I want to say it's like it has to be like maybe it's a Plymouth or something. And it's I forget what part of the. It's like the first crew when they first hit filming the first part of the cruising scenes. It's got a pearl, like it almost looks like a Watson paint job. It's a white pearl car, but it's got purple like faded fenders, like these lines. I'll send it to you.
You mean it in American Graffiti?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the '58 Chrysler, wasn't it?
Nope. It's only in the movie for like 2-3 seconds.
Yeah, when they were cruising down the boulevard.
Mm-hmm. I'll send it to you.
Okay. Yeah, mine would have to be the Hollywood Nights.
Hollywood. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My favorite.
57 Chevy.
Well, that wasn't on the list, but
Project
we'll
X.
accept it.
I want to see. You know what's really bothering me is I've heard all the great stuff about Two Lane Blacktop.
Yep.
And I want to watch it so bad. But
I got it for you. I remember. I got to come over here. I'm gonna lend it to you.
Oh my God, I want to see it.
Yep.
Do we even have a way to play it?
Yep. Do you have a
VCR?
computer?
No, we don't have a VCR.
We got a DVD.
Well, it's I got it on disc. That one's on.
We don't have a disc player.
Yes, we do.
Where?
Yeah, you don't have a computer.
We don't have one in the computer.
Mine does.
Oh, you have a floppy?
No, we
Not a
have it.
floppy.
We have it. We'll figure it out.
Well, I'll bring it over to you.
I'll figure it out.
Question
Well,
9.
Marisol and I are coming over one of these days in a couple weeks, so I'll bring it over to you.
Corvette Supper. I also like that one.
That was a good one too. I like that. Yeah.
There's so many.
Moving on. Number 9. Because there's something that I want to round out the end of the conversation with. That's pretty huge. So number 9, your favorite memory. Like something that stands out.
Okay.
So car memory or just life?
Such a vague question.
Whatever you want. Whatever you want to share.
Asking the day that I asked my father-in-law to be if I could have his daughter's hand in marriage.
Oh.
And he kind of looked at me. He's like, I don't know.
What? No.
Nice.
And I said, well, I really want to marry your daughter. And he's like, yeah, I guess you'll do.
Oh, jeez. I love it though. If you're going to be a dad and someone asks you, like I'm waiting.
He's waiting for that moment.
Oh my God. It's going to be, I'm going to go, here's what I'm going to need you to do. Take a seat. And then I'm going to come in, load my shotgun. You go, you afraid of guns? You like guns?
No, it's funny is he didn't have a gun. I actually got him his first gun.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I remember the first time I asked somebody that and they were like, you're too good for her. And I should have listened.
That was my dad.
No, it wasn't. Your dad was like, please.
Take her off my hands.
Somebody, please.
She's a burden.
Question 10. She's a burden
All right. So
on society and the whole world.
Last question, number 10. And now this one is a dig deep.
Hold on. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you've come to the last question. Question number 10 of ityB's Shakedown.
This one, take a moment.
Okay.
Not that deep.
It is, what is your favorite thing about yourself?
Wow.
Some people are uncomfortable answering this.
Oh,
ityB had no problem.
He's like, where do you want me to start? No.
Yeah. Who, me or you?
What are you saying?
I'm kidding. No.
I'm outgoing. I'm a very outgoing individual.
Yes.
I'm an alpha male on quite a few things. I'm a control freak in some things, but I'm a very outgoing person. I try to give everybody respect. That's respect I would like to receive in return. I know it's not how it always works, but
yeah.
I just try to love being alive, love being love being one of God's children, and I just try to love people. Now I get caught in a traffic jam and you cut me off. I'm still working on that too. Kind of with that, when they had took my teddy tiger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm still working on those issues. I try to be an outgoing person. I think that's one of my favorite qualities of myself.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's kind of where I wanted to round this around to is your faith and your love for God, because I know Johnny's been a little bit more transparent about that part of his life recently. We've been kind of already talking about it for quite some time with people. And I think people know that a lot about us, but recently you've been posting some scripture and some inspirational stuff, and there's been some people that have reached out in great support, and it's been wonderful, and you're one of those people. So.
Yeah, for sure. And it's been awesome waking up. There was a tidbit of time. I started sending texts early in the morning just to try to help start people's day really good, and I fell off, and this guy kept going.
Nice.
Every morning there's something popping up in my inbox or in my feed of some sort, and especially now that we've kind of share this diving back into the Word of God a little bit more in our lives and trying to make it a little more important. It's been something really kind of cool to bounce off each other, to encourage each other to continue to keep doing that. So it's been awesome. So I appreciate, even though there's moments I just give a little thumbs up to the little reel that you send me. I'm just know that I'm reading them and I'm opening them, and it's making a difference. It's definitely making an impact for sure.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. I mean, the friendship that you two have brought to Marty and I is just, I love it, man. I just think it's just going to keep flourishing and just keep going forward. I just love it.
Yeah, the distance makes it a little tough, but it's definitely it definitely has been, it's been encouraging to have the contact that we've had, and there's plan. You and I have talked about some stuff. Trying to get some things going when the weather turns.
Get a show with you over there.
We got in the works, trying to do some sort of a show, and then even also trying to have you come this way and us maybe putting on our first ever, like a Johnny Jalopy, a hot rod.
Johnny Jalopy hot rod, or is it Johnny Jalopy? Yeah, the lowbrow and custom hot rod show.
Yeah, try to do like an art show, a car show, have music. Try to put it all together. Something that I can't remember the last time something like that's been done in our town.
And to have you host it, and then have Sam be a big part of it,
DJ in it, and knowing all his car guys, and
that would be fantastic.
His experience putting shows and stuff on would be huge.
And here's the good news: somebody has time now to do that.
Yeah, he does.
So that's what we're doing. So that's what we've talked, and him and I have kind of a little bit of collaboration in that, where it's like, maybe when the weather gets a little cooler, we'll start talking about it, because right now it'd be miserable to try to do it.
And plus with the rain, unpredictable.
Let's get through the Florida winter, or our Florida winter is what I call it.
And Sam, you've been a huge support to Johnny's art and reposting in the group about our specials that have been running, the May special, the June special now, and then placing an order for some shirts from us. So we're happy to do those for you.
Those will be on their way.
Awesome.
I got everything in stock.
Well, now. I like quality, so
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Ed Nash just posted something, and he said, and I love this. He said, "Men of God can have fun too."
Yeah, it's the misconception that you can't have a strong relationship or faith and still be a regular person out in the world doing regular stuff, having fun and enjoying yourself, having passions and you know, as you alluded to, you know, there are moments of where, you know, old man thinking comes in and someone cuts you off and you know, you're not perfect.
Yeah. But I'm working on myself. I really am. I try every day to be better.
But the reality of it is, you know, again, based on what the word says, you know, we're not to beat ourselves up. It's to know that, you know, take ownership of that you did it, which is what you do. And then you go, okay, I got to fix that.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's that easy. It's not hard.
And I mean, the patience level that you have to be a teacher, a high school or a middle school teacher in this day and time.
Yeah. My wife is amazed I haven't been called in the office because I haven't cursed in the classroom. And I try not to curse. And then there was a period of time when I told myself, that's it. You know, I'm an intelligent human being. I can stop cursing. And I did for a while. And every once in a while I still slip up and I'm like, Lord, I'm sorry. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm not doing good, but I'm going to keep trying.
That's all it's about, man.
I've been trying to use dag nabbit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine is
if it works.
Dag nabbit.
Yeah. It's funny.
Gummit.
Yeah, there you go.
I think the other words.
That sounds more westerny. So that's
definitely more westerny.
That's for you.
Farting, fleeting, flourishing, flig, vlarging, larging, schligging.
Oh, dad gummit.
Rootin', tootin', shooting, pootin'. Anyway. Start cussing like Yosemite Sam, you'll be fine.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're at 10:30 already.
Yeah, we're at an hour. Ian, Sam, thanks so much for your time, dude. We'd love to have you back on, talk and really talk more specifically about hot rod stuff.
Yep.
You know, but I thought it'd be great to have you on, get people to get to know who you are.
I appreciate that.
So are there car shows going on that you're doing now?
Just the three.
Yeah, I've got one coming up this weekend in Leesburg. That's the one with Jen and RJ. They're the hosts.
Gotcha.
I DJ that show. We in the summer months we usually pull right around the 75 to about 100 cars. There's some great clubs that cruise that one. It's funny as I give a homage to these car clubs because these guys get together and they're keeping that whole mentality of the cruising lifestyle alive. There's the let's see, a guy named Bob Weiss who's the president of the Skulls, a guy by the name of Dave, I always say his name wrong, and he's from down south where I was. David Alba from the Asphalt Misfits. There's a guy named Richie C from the Kingsridge Car Club, and then my car club. A lot of us will do things together, but there's one coming up this coming Saturday from 3 o'clock until 6:30 in downtown Leesburg, right across the street from City Hall.
Cool.
And a lot of the car clubs come out there. We get together. Oh, there's also the Touch of Glass Car Club. That's a Corvette club. With Rick Richardson, really nice guy. These guys these guys all keep that whole cruising lifestyle alive. So, but during the summer months, the car numbers drop off, and we start to feel the cooler September. Then we start picking up again.
Yeah. It's because it comes down to twofold. It's either your car is not reliable enough, or your body's not reliable enough to be
because it's miserable when there's no AC.
So hot. So, but is that the Leesburg show? Is that an open show where folks can just show up and the day and be there? Awesome. So
how do people get a hold of you?
They can let's see, hotrodsam@cfl.rr.com is my email. Anybody can email me if I don't recognize you and it's car stuff. I always answer it. But if it's hey, we're trying to sell you a dishwasher with a get rid of that.
I'm gonna type it in the comments. So you said it's Hot Rod Sam
at CFL. It stands for Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
.RR for Roadrunner and .com.
All right, and then okay, and then they can people friend you on Facebook? And
I'm on Facebook. Yeah, Samuel Galen Metro.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
We also have our car club, the Classic Irons. Central Florida is also on there. People can get on that as well.
Facebook page for that. Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Perfect.
Sweet. Fun. Georgia Brown.
This was great.
Yeah.
I had a great time. Thank you guys.
We're excited that you're on. Fun. And again, man, we hope to have you on very, very soon so we can talk more hot rod stuff. Yep. And hopefully we'll get to hang out before that'll happen.
Yeah. See so the progress you're making on their projects.
Plans. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Love to.
And I don't know if we told you, Texas Roadhouse is open over here by us now.
So we got to make it over there. So we had it on our time. The last time we were out to dinner, we were over here. We got to come over there. Marty and I will drive over there happily.
For sure. We would love it.
To it.
Such good
Perfect. Well, happy Father's Day to you. That's coming up this weekend.
Yep. You too, Johnny.
Enjoy that.
Yeah, for sure, man. And everybody out there, happy Father's Day to you. Fathers that are going to be celebrating that. And we sure appreciate you watching the show with us, hanging out with us. Sketchy Live Monday is always a good time. Tell your friends. If you like this show or you want to see other stuff, you can go to our YouTube channel, or if you're on YouTube right now, hit that like and subscribe button. We'd sure appreciate it. Let the algorithms know that you like this kind of content. We appreciate it.
And big news, guys, we do have hats on order. The order's being filled right now. We will have them here. We have the OG, and then we have a surprise for you.
Super surprise.
Limited dish. Limited a dish.
It might be the new cool, but I can't wait to get it.
Sam, if you can hang out for a minute after we close out here, because we want to talk to you.
Don't leave.
Yep.
Don't leave. But everybody else, we've got to say goodbye. We will see you
next Monday.
No.
Oh, the following
next Monday we're going to be coming home and travel.
We'll try to stop in and say something.
We might be able to pop in.
We never do.
But we love you guys. Thank you so much for your support. Head over to johnnyjalopy.com. Check out our merch.
That's right. There's going to be hats. There still is stickers. There's tons of t-shirts and cool artwork available. And don't forget to check out my June special. Still going on. There's plenty of time to get on the calendar, the list, where you can have your card drawn in a really cool, fun, cartoony way. And it's only going to cost you $100. And you get the original hand drawn. Awesome. Super cool. It's a great deal. Guys. Get on it. And don't forget to do this when you're living life and having fun.
Stay sketchy.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye.
Not next week. The week after.